Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Horse Guy Mike podcast. I'm your host, Horse Guy Mike. Joining me tonight, Mr. Johnny the Wire. How you doing, John Herka?
I'm doing great, Horse Guy Mike. You know why I'm doing great?
Why is that?
Do you have any ideas why?
Is it because of that guy on your fish tank?
You see him on over the shoulder? Who is that? That's Tyler Gaffleone. So, Mike, what last week we did the Florida Derby Day podcast. What did I say? I dropped it in there randomly in the middle of it. What did I say?
You said this is a Tyler Gaffleone podcast.
I did. Well, it was technically a question. I'm like, are we a Tyler Gaffleone podcast? And I think we learned after our trip to Gulfstream Park that yes, we are officially America's #1 Tyler Gaffleone podcast.
I'm going to agree with you 100% there. He was red hot for us.
Oh, he was awesome.
Florida Derby this weekend. Basically, I mean, early in the day, he was red hot. We were like, oh, Gaff's right on turf horse. That's an instant include. And guess what? He did it for us. So we have
Barrio,
White Barrio capped it off. We had a lot of fun at the Florida Derby. I hit the pick 4. We hit the pick 6 together. Had a bunch of kind of win bets, rolling doubles, exactas throughout the day. So a lot of success there. We're hoping to run it back.
It was the best day we've ever had at the track in our history. We went home with a lot of money. And what we did is the Jockey Foundation was selling these bobbleheads. Show them again one more time. They were selling the bobbleheads for $30, and we're like, we needed Gaff to win the pick 6. So we're like, hey, if Gaffleone hits the pick 6 with White Barrio, we're buying 2 bobbleheads. That's what happened. That's what we did. And they're signed by him too. So we got some autographed bobbleheads as a great memento from our awesome day down in Florida. Tyler Gaffleone, we love you. You're #1.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great memory, and we'll hope to run it back this weekend. Luckily, we have some more Gaffleone action coming up. A lot of action this weekend. We have 3 big Kentucky Derby preps, the Wood Memorial at Aqueduct, the Bluegrass Stakes at Keeneland, and the Santa Anita Derby at Santa Anita. We're going to talk about all 3 and then give some picks in some other stakes races going on across the country. So with that being said, we're going to start on the East Coast with the earliest race. This is race number 8 at Aqueduct, the Wood Memorial. Mile and 1/8 for 3-year-olds on the dirt. Post time's about 4:45 Eastern time. We have 3 main contenders in this race. We've got the #1 horse, Mo Donegal, for Todd Pletcher. We've got the #3 horse, Early Voting, from Chad Brown, and the number 5 horse, Morello, from Steve Asmussen. John, which of these 3 heavyweights are you looking to favor here?
Is Morello the morning line favorite? Can you look that up for me while I?
Yeah, he's 5-2.
Okay, he's 5-2. Okay, well, so not a strong morning line favorite, but on paper he looks the best. I think he's got the best buyer.
He's 8-5. Sorry, 8-5.
Yeah. Yeah, because he ran a 96 buyer, kind of dominated the field. My favorite angle in horse racing, handicapping, is Steve Asmussen horse coming off a bullet work in their penultimate workout, because that's when he really goes for speed. And then the workout right before the race, he just holds them really snug, and they're not allowed to really run. He keeps them nice and sharp. So when you see that bullet with an Asmussen horse, two works back, usually it means they're gonna fire, or they're gonna be ready to run. They're gonna bring their A game. So Epicenter had that same pattern in the Louisiana Derby, and you saw what he did. So I think Morello is the logical choice, and I have no problem with him being the favorite. Definitely going to use him in any kind of multi-leg wagers. You got to exotic races, exactas. You got to have him top 2 for sure. I think Morello is a solid choice. I mean, what do you think about him? Because I have one more horse I want to talk about, but we'll flip it to you real quick on Morello.
Yeah, so Morello's done nothing wrong. Like you said, he got that 96 in the Gotham, won easily, 4.5 lengths, 5 lengths before that. Keeps Jose Lozcano on board. I thought it was not weird, but so Joel Rosario has kind of become Asmussen's #1 rider since whatever happened with Ricardo Santana. Yeah. But he's keeping Lozcano on board, who had the 3 mounts already, even though Rosario is in this race. Rosario is riding Mo Donegal. So I don't know.
That's an interesting angle.
Yeah, so we play the jockey angles here. Asmussen's keeping the rider who's had him before instead of trying to put his #1 rider on.
I think I know what's happening there, though. Is like if you look at the card, Rosario's riding all Pletcher's horses. I noticed that because, that's not really a combo we ever really see, Pletcher and Rosario. I think that's just the way it shook out because I think Irad's out in Keeneland, so Irad's like his normal guy. But if you think about it, Joel's going to be on Epicenter for the Derby, so it really doesn't make any sense for him to put Joel on Morello, even because he's going to win. If he wins one race, then he's back on Epicenter. So I think Asmussen is just keeping Lescano on him, in hopes that he wins, gets to the Derby, and then he's got two horses with their regular jockeys going into the Derby. So I think that's what's going on there.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny, like all three of these horses are pretty similar. They're all about $200,000 purchases. They're all, Morello's 3 for 3, early voting's 2 for 2, Mo Donegal 2 for 4. But Mo Donegal's last race was that, Holy Bull that came back pretty strong with Simplification and White Barrio.
I found it really did, right?
Yeah.
after last week, yeah.
Yeah, I found it odd that he shipped him up to New York instead of, he kept Emmanuel down in Florida. He kept Charge It down in Florida. Pletcher had a couple other ones that he kind of kept down there. So it feels like Pletcher's trying to find an easier spot for Modonegal, but he is kind of that one-run closer. He made up a ton of ground in that Holy Bull. He was flying late. He nearly caught Simplification up the wire for second. So I think he'll be good eventually. I'd love to see him do well here, head to the Peter Pan, and then head to the Belmont.
Yeah,
I think that's a better progression for him. So I don't think he's going to be geared up now. I'm actually going to go with early voting as my number one. Chad Brown in New York, Jose Ortiz. I said this a few times. When Chad Brown has a dirt horse that he's putting on the Triple Crown Trail, you got to take it seriously because he's typically a turf trainer. That's where he's favored, especially fillies on the turf. So when he has a serious dirt horse that he's being really intentional about, I take big notice of that. So I love seeing that here. He's got a front running style, and we've seen that in a lot of the Derby preps that these front runners are just getting on the lead and they're not really dying off. So I think there's also a chance that it could be kind of muddy this weekend. There's been some heavy rain at Aqueduct. They had to take the races off the turf today. So another plus for early voting. I think early voting is going to get on the lead. Morello's going to be sitting off in that second tier, and it's going to be a stretch run between the two of them. Mo Donegal is going to be flying up, but we'll see what happens. I'm just going to bank on early voting to kind of hold off and win.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a tough call between those two, Morello and early voting, because on paper they haven't lost and they look very formidable. I do like that early voting's by Gun Runner because he's my favorite horse, and honestly, the gun runner horses they run. They even I threw out Papa Cap in the Florida Derby. He got fourth. He's not that level horse, but he brings a run every time, and I think early voting will definitely do that. My only question though, or my only concern with early voting though, is in his 2 wins, he's actually lost his lead in the stretch a little bit. If you really look at the PPs, where last race he was winning by 6.5 lengths, he only won by 4.5. So, he's got that early speed where he runs them off their feet, but as the waters get deeper and the competition gets better, maybe some horse can come in late and steal it. So I do think early voting, man, I'm looking at early voting in Morello, and I'm thinking Exacta Box, just ice cold Exacta Box.
It's gonna be just those two. I mean, I really don't see anyone else hitting here.
Yeah,
obviously,
and honestly, we could play it where we flip those two and then just key in Mo Donegal in third, maybe, and try to hit like a $5 try that way or something big. I might do that.
That'd be a great way to do it. So yeah. Early voting's going to be my pick. Sounds like you're on Morello.
I'm on Morello officially, but I just think it's a chalk race.
Okay. Awesome. Sounds good. So that's kind of how we see the Wood Memorial shaken out. So we'll move over to Keeneland. Keeneland race 9, mile and an eighth on the dirt. Post time 5:10 Eastern. We have, I think it's the current, it's not the current, but the early Derby Futures favorite in Smile Happy making his return here. John, do you think Smile Happy?
He's right now the Derby Futures favorite?
I think Forbidden Kingdom was, Smile Happy was before that. I think Epicenter might be right now. But Smile Happy took a lot of the money from the earlier pools.
Oh, the earlier pools. Okay. Yeah. I mean, he's got to get back. He's got to get back to what he showed. I guess he ran a 94, but he lost that Risen Star to Epicenter. So getting away from Epicenter is definitely going to help him. Second off a layoff, second as a 3-year-old. I think Smile Happy is, I think he's your logical favorite in here, but I don't know. I like Ethereal Road, man. I watched him run in Arkansas. Now that race came back very poor with Unoho. That was the Unoho race that Unoho won. I thought Ethereal Road made a huge move around the turn in that race. He was, 5th, 4th, and then all of a sudden he comes around the turn, swoops the whole field, gets into the lead. And then Luis Contreras, he's a young jockey. He started hitting the horse when he was in the lead. And then Ethereal Road kind of went sideways in the stretch. And that's when Unoho was able to beat him by half a length. So I hope, if Luis Contreras maybe learned from that, maybe don't go to the whip because the horse clearly did not like it. He was trying to run away from it. But I get it on his buyers. He only ran an 83. So if you're playing buyers, it didn't look too good. The race came back kind of poor because none of those runners did much. Well, actually, Barber Road ran really pretty well in the Arkansas Derby, and Ethereal Road beat Barber Road. So maybe Unoho just had a good day that day, and Ethereal Road is really going to get better. So I like Smile Happy, but Ethereal Road I think could be a price in here.
Yeah, for sure. And I was big on Smile Happy after last year. He won that Jockey Club, which is a huge race. White Abario got 3rd in that race. Classic Causeway got 2nd. Came back as a really good race for the 2-year-olds at the end of the year there. His debut was not until that Fairgrounds race, the Risen Star, where he got 2nd. If you watch that race, Epicenter was 7 in the lead, kind of just went wire to wire. Epicenter got a 98 for that one. Smile Happy was, traffic issues, was kind of towards the end, towards the back of the pack, made up a lot of ground in the stretch. I'm just worried that that's his style, where he's going to get mid pack to later, because he had the same thing in the Jockey Club. He was sitting 6th or 5th and made a huge run to go.
It definitely seems like that's what his running style is, late running.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's going to translate here, especially with 11 horses. That's a lot of traffic trouble to have to navigate. 12 horses to have to navigate. So I think he's a really talented horse. I think he's going to have success this year. I don't know if he's going to have success here. He might just be that much better than all of these horses, which I don't doubt because this is not that great of a race. So I'll probably end up picking him here because I like him a lot better than the other kind of choice in this race, which is Zandon.
Right.
Yeah, so
Zandon just doesn't really win enough for me. He's
Zandon
only won his maiden.
Yeah, Zandon had that similar style in the Risen Star where he was 10th back, 9th back, 8th back, and then he passed tired horses and got 3rd behind Smile Happy. So they're very similar, and Smile Happy's better at it than Zandon is. So I think those are the two that everyone's going to be on. Out of those two, Smile Happy's better. I'm actually going to take a shot here. Big long shot.
Okay. Doing a little switcheroo on me here. Okay. I thought
a little switcheroo.
Yeah, who do you got?
I'm going to go with the number 2 horse, Fenwick.
Okay.
20-1 on the morning line.
Ooh.
This horse won last out by 5.5 lengths at Tampa Bay Downs on the undercard for the Tampa Bay Derby. It beat another horse in this race, Command Performance. Got an 88 buyer. It was his best buyer off of was previously trained by Asmussen, didn't do anything. Switched to another trainer called David Fisher, didn't do anything. Now he's with Kevin McCathan, who I have no idea who that is, but he got an 88 buyer, went wire to wire. He went wire to wire and beat Command Performance, who's also in this race. And I think it's going to set up the same way. I think it's just this horse is going to get in the lead, especially from the 2-hole, and just sit in the lead, and everyone's going to underestimate him, and all these horses are going to be waiting for their chance to fire, and he's going to be hitting the stretch, just going home.
That's so I actually like that point. So now I'm looking at the PPs while you're talking now. To win would be wild. I think that's, if you like him 20-1, I mean, maybe he gets on the lead and someone passes him, but he still gets 2nd or 3rd. I think that's a good value play for the exotics. But as you were saying that, I'm looking at Emmanuel now, or I'm giving him a second look, I should say. Now, this horse has done his best running on the front end. His 2 wins, he's won gate to wire. And then what happened in the Fountain of Youth, he got behind horses got that kickback in his face and he kind of gave up. He quit. So like, what if Emmanuel like gets back to being on the lead and he's in the clear? That's when he runs his best. And Pletcher, Luis Saez, I mean, Luis Saez is like, he is the king of stealing a race on the front end. He gets to the lead, he pulls the horse back, everyone kind of slows down, and then bang, he finishes. And all of your son, Emmanuel, how did that horse win, steal this thing? So maybe
I agree.
Emmanuel might be live actually. So
I think you're exactly right. I think Emmanuel, looking at the way he ran in those first 2 races was big on the lead. I think Fenwick and Emmanuel on the lead.
Yeah,
they ran similar
I might be switching my pick, to be honest with you. I might be going with Emmanuel now.
So Emmanuel ran a 90 or an 89 in his win. Fenwick ran an 88 in his last win. So
yeah,
if you were just to look at like their ownership, Emmanuel, Todd Pletcher, Luis Saez, 350K purchase versus Fenwick, unknown trainer, Paco Lopez for 52K purchase. It's like these horses don't compare. But last out, we'll see. So just looking at that, you're going to get way more value on Fenwick, but maybe Emmanuel is the more likely winner.
I think we talked ourselves into switching on this whole race. Like we're going front runners now.
You know what? I think you're right. I think I'll probably do Emmanuel and Fenwick to win, and then box them with Smile Happy. That's
probably the right move. And I really think Ethereal Road can run up. Maybe he won't win. So maybe Ethereal Road is more of like your trifecta type of horse.
There's your 4 horses. 4 horse box those in your trifecta and you're good to go. Yeah. I'll box my 3 and my exacta and my tri, and we'll see how it goes. But I think that's how this race is going to shake out.
Lock me down for Emmanuel now to win. Pletcher needs another Derby horse. That's a sneaky one. All right.
I agree. All right. So those are our thoughts on the Bluegrass Stakes. Let's head over to Santa Anita. Going 1 1/8 on the dirt. Post time's 5:30 Eastern. John, I know you got a lot of heavy opinions about this 6-horse race, especially regarding a particular trainer.
Well, if you could see my shirt, the California Wine Festival, I was there at Santa Anita back in whatever day. Well, I think it was like January 31st when they ran the San Vicente. It was January 29th. I was there at Santa Anita. I watched this horse, Forbidden Kingdom, pop the gate, go super fast, and then he ran 3 Bob Baffert horses off of their feet that day. It was amazing. Pinehurst, McLaren Vale, and I think Doppelganger was the 4th, or Doppelganger came in.
He was in there in that race. He was there in the San Felipe, yeah.
Yeah, so either way, Forbidden Kingdom has been the Bob Baffert destroyer this year. He's beaten Bob Baffert horses just about every time he's raced, except for one. He lost to Messier, so that's a little messy, if you will, there. But as we know, Bob Baffert going through a lot of trouble with Kentucky. They won't let him run his horses. So what happened to Bob Baffert? He lost all of his 3-year-olds. They're all being trained now by different trainers. Tim Yakteen took the best of the bunch, and we see 2 of them in here now. We have Messier, who would have been Bob Baffert's number 1 horse, and then we have Taiba, who ran a 103 buyer on debut, had only the 1 race, but is another one of those like, man, this horse could be a horse of a lifetime, kind of like how Bob Baffert has always been since the Justify years. So now they're go to Tim Yakteen. So who do we like now? I don't know. Who do you like? I think I just kind of tipped my hand.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna stick with Forbidden Kingdom. I just have to.
Smart man.
Out of principle, I have to. I think Messier.
It's Messier. He's named after Mark Messier, the Hall of Fame hockey player. I know you're a big hockey fan over there.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So I think Messier is good with the 103 buyer, especially in that Robert B. Lewis. The layoff is just, it's a little much. It's a 2-month layoff with the new trainer and with all the upheaval there. Whereas Forbidden Kingdom's kind of, he's in form. He's getting better and better every single race. You look, it's like 59, 79, 90, 94, 98. It's a strong progression. Whereas Messier, it's kind of exploded. It was, 82, 86, 83, 103 with a huge jump up and then a long layoff. And I hate those horses who
that classic Bob Baffert 20-point buyer jump.
I hate that like big explosion and then long layoff.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, he might have got like a little bit of an injury, something you don't know.
Yeah, because if this horse was in good shape, healthy and everything like that, I think they would have got another race in here before this, even an allowance or something. So that being said, I'm going to stick with Forbidden Kingdom out of principle, but also I think this horse has a huge shot here. What about you? Between the big three, who are you going with?
I'm going with Forbidden Kingdom. Saw him live, bet on him last time. He's my boy. I am worried about his running style. Like, I do think that his last couple races, he's been geared down in the stretch, which, he's been running them off their feet. Don't get me wrong. Like, he goes 21 and change, 45 and change, and the other horses are trying to keep up, and they're just like, come on, man. And he's just kind of jogging on the front end. Like, he's got that insanely fast cruising speed that is just like, he's just got natural talent flowing out the wazoo. But as the races get longer, that's when you kind of get more vulnerable to a horse that might be running up behind you. And, this is his third start of the year. So, is he still going strong or is he still tired? I mean, his workouts look fine. So you can't really, there's nothing pointing that he's going to get tired. So you just got to bet him and hope for the best, really. But I do think he's going to get the lead like he has been. Even though Messier is fast, like, I don't think Messier is as fast. Because, I mean, even if you just take the last races, they were the same distance, mile and a 16th. And Forbidden Kingdom ran a full second faster at the half mile, 55 and change to 56 and change for Messier. So I don't think it's going to be a match race. I think it's going to be Forbidden Kingdom running very fast on the front end. Messier is going to be keeping up with him as best he can. And then I think it does set up, though, for Taiba, the unknown, the big unknown. He's only got one race. He ran a 103 buyer. It was only 6 furlongs, and now he's going 9 furlongs, right? Or 8.5, or is it 9? I think it's 9. Yeah, it's 9 furlongs. So he's adding 3 furlongs after one race. I mean, we literally just said charge it, like he couldn't go from a maiden to a grade 1. So am I about to say Taiba can do what Charge It couldn't do? I think there's a chance, because I think if Forbidden Kingdom gets softened up, then he gets a little bit tired. Then Taiba is sitting 3 wide, and then Taiba comes flying by because he's by Gun Runner. So he's he's going to bring a run. I think Taiba can steal it. So I'm not going to single in like a pick 4 situation. I'm going to play Forbidden Kingdom and Taiba, but on a win bet, I'm going to just play Forbidden Kingdom and see how that goes.
All right. Yeah, absolutely agree.
What do you think about Taiba?
I mean, he's an unknown. I'm not going to bet a horse that's coming off a 6 furlong maiden right into a grade 1 and going 2 turns against the best horses in the field. Again, it's one of those situations where if he wins, like, that's great. Not too surprised. But going from 6 furlong maiden 1 turn to a 9 furlong 2 turn race, grade 1 against winners that are posting the highest buyers in the country, that's too deep for me. And again, if he wins, it's like, yeah, of course he did. But
I guess the thing I like about him is that he's 4-1. So he actually has a little bit of value on like a pick 4 or pick 3 situation.
And I don't think he'll be there. I think it'll probably be 2-1 on Messier, 2-1 on Forbidden Kingdom, and 3-1 on.
I think they're going to float up. I think it's going to be like 4-5, 6-5, and then he'll stay around 4.
I think Messier goes off ahead or goes off better than Forbidden Kingdom. Yeah,
he might. Yeah, I mean, it's a small field, but it's an exciting race, and I think if someone puts on a show, they're going to be right there at the top of the Kentucky Derby, the tote board.
Yeah, I mean, I always say this, that whoever wins the Santa Anita Derby is probably your favorite or one of your favorites, because
I mean, Santa Anita and Florida are I think the top 2.
Yeah, the 2 preps. I was looking at it earlier. The Wood Memorial hasn't produced. The winner of the Wood Memorial has not won the Derby since 2000. The winner of the Louisiana Derby has not won since 96. The winner of the Bluegrass has not won since 91. Wow.
I didn't know that Louisiana has been that long. That's kind of alarming, because a lot of good horses have come through there, like Gun Runner, Hot Rod Charlie recently. Now we have Epicenter, who's going to be like one of the favorites. So
so it's. I mean, the past.
I guess this is a discussion for the Derby pod. Like, let's save this. This is good red meat for the Derby pod.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But I mean, whoever wins this race, if it's Messier or Forbidden Kingdom or even Taiba, I could probably consider them the Derby favorite easily. I mean, as long as they're putting up at least a 98 buyer, I think, which is what they'll need. If they put up like a 94, which I don't imagine that happening at all. Then I think Epicenter keeps it. But if they post a 98 or above, I think whoever wins this race is.
Yeah, and I think whoever wins is going to get that number easily.
Yeah, I mean, California's always fast. I don't know
Yeah.
what it is about their buyers out there, but they're always
I think it's honestly, I think it's the track. Like, I think the track is so deep, like the dirt, because remember they had all those horses dying out there.
Yeah.
So they wanted to make it super safe. So they made it like really cushiony and like pillowy. And so like now it's like when you get on that front end, like you just go and like the other horses just can't like keep up because it's just like running on a beach, you know?
Yeah.
But I guess somehow that makes their buyers faster. I don't know. Or maybe it's the stuff. You know?
Maybe it's the stuff. All right. So those are our top picks for the big three Kentucky Derby races this weekend. We're going to do rapid picks right now with our locks of the weekend, our vulnerable favorites, and our live long shots. John, get started. Who is your lock of the weekend?
So this is a great day for betting, horse betting. We got 3 tracks with big cards. So a lot of options out there. I'm going to start with a race that I know Mike will not agree with, but my long shot is at Keeneland. Race, let me get the race number. Race 8 at Keeneland, the Shakertown. 5.5 furlong turf sprint. The exciting type of race. I'm going against, well, I'm not going against Golden Pal, but I won't be afraid to not single Golden Pal. There's a horse in there. His name is the Learjet. He's 12-1 on your morning line. Guess who's riding him, Mike? Horse guy, Mike.
Tyler Gaffleon.
Ooh, Gaffleon on turf. It's our favorite angle. So we got a 12-1 shot. He's come over to America twice now. Last year at Kentucky Downs, he won a sprint race, the Franklin Simpson, grade 2. And this is a grade 2 turf sprint. And he likes the distance. He's 2 for 2 at the distance, albeit over in Europe. But hey, he's a turf sprinter over in Europe. Usually their class is better over there. It seems like he does better when he comes to America, or at least last year he did. So, I mean, he's coming back over. He's a 4-year-old now. He's going from 3 to 4. You get Gaffleon on there. Might be worth a shot. I mean, crazy things can happen at Keeneland, man.
I like your pick. I mean, my lock of the weekend is Golden Pal. That's my lock of the weekend. But if you're gonna take a shot, I think a 12-1 shot off with Gaff on turf for the Learjet is the only one I would take. I wouldn't take anyone else in this race. It's the only one I would do. But Golden Pal is my lock of locks. This horse is incredible. Undefeated outside of Ascot besides his first race. He won the Breeders' Cup turf sprint with a 107 buyer. Just blew everyone away.
I was there, yeah. I tried betting against him that day too, and that didn't work out.
I feel like the only thing that could happen is that he's had a long layoff. Maybe he gets to the lead and he's kind of ranked, and he just quits the 5 furlong pole.
Yeah, he's been firing bullet workouts though. I mean, he's probably going to be like a single on your pick 5s. But I like the Learjet, man. I think if there's ever and this is that scenario. Remember when we had Jonathan Stetton on a few weeks ago, and he said, "Hey, if you can find a horse that you take out the horse that everyone's going to be playing, then you set yourself up for that crazy bet." Like, I think the Learjet is that horse.
I think you're right. I think I think if he doesn't fire, he's the only one that can catch him. So So that's my lock of the weekend. That's your long shot. I'm going to go ahead and do my long shot because it's the race right before this one. My long shot is race 7 at Keeneland. The favorite in this race is Kamari. I know you're a big fan of Kamari.
Big fan.
I'm actually going to go with a different horse. Horse number 2, Center Isle, 12-1 on the morning line. This horse is coming off 3 wins in a row. Rosario, Saez. They're not high-level races. It was 2 allowance races and a G3. But 12-1. This race seems kind of wide open. It's been working well. Had a 49. Had a bullet before that. Had a bullet before that. Had almost a bullet before that. Had a bullet before that. Bullet before that. This horse is working like a champ.
It's a fast horse.
It's a fast horse.
Yeah.
And if you're going 7 furlongs at Keeneland, I'm going to want a fast horse who's going to be on the front end. I think Saez is the perfect jockey for it. I don't think we'll get 12-1. I think it might float down a little bit. But this is going to be my long shot for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bold pick, man. Grade 1 dirt sprint for fillies and mares. And there's a lot of good horses in there, like Lady Rocket and Kamari, and Belle's the one, obviously. We can't forget about her. So yeah, man, that's a tough, I don't think I could get to that horse, but maybe I'll be feeling it on Saturday and I'll throw her in. But yeah, that's a tough race. And like, that's one of those I see the field, and cause I love Kamari so much that I would just like, automatically assume she's a single. But then when you dig into Kamari, it's like, she's 5 now, she's coming off not so great of a buyer, 87 buyer. Maybe is Kamari kind of past her prime a little bit. I'm kind of worried about that. So it could be ripe for a picking of a longer shot horse. So I mean, maybe Center Isle looks great on paper. Three wins in a row, 94 buyer last time out, doing great working out. I mean, all the signs are pointing to yes, include that horse. So I like it.
All right, perfect. So that was my long shot. Yeah, who's your lock?
Do we want to go to Aqueduct next?
Yeah, let's go
to Aqueduct, and then we'll finish with Santa Anita. So yeah, I got nothing more on the Keeneland card. I don't know, do you?
No, I'm done. I'm done with Keeneland.
Okay, we're done with Keeneland for now. So let's go to Aqueduct. Let's go to their Kentucky Oaks prep. That would be race number 10, the Gazelle Stakes. Now we have a favorite in here. Her name is Venti Valentine, a New York bred. She won the Busher Invitational with a 92 buyer, the best last buyer speed figure. Sorry, I forgot her. Mike, look up her morning line. I think she's 7-5 on the morning line.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7-5 on the morning line. So she's going to be a vulnerable favorite to me because, she's New York bred, and there's other really good horses coming in here, like Classy Edition for Todd Pletcher. Classy Edition got second behind Kathleen O. We were down there at Gulfstream. We singled Kathleen O on our pick 6 that hit. She looks like the star of stars right now. And Classy Edition had to kind of had to close behind her. So that was never going to happen. So what Pletcher did is he moved Classy Edition up to New York. Here she is in the Gazelle Stakes, and she fired a bullet workout. So I know it was only an 81 buyer, but other than that second place, she had 3 wins in a row before that. She won at Aqueduct as a 2-year-old. So I think Classy Edition could be live. And if you're looking for vulnerable favorites, I mean, this, 7-5 is a little too low of a price that I would be willing to take on Venti Valentine. I think Classy Edition offers a lot of value, especially in a win bet, because I think Pletcher's moving her up there to win.
Yeah, I think she's a great pick if you're going to go against the favorite. I'm not going to try to go against the favorite. I'm going to single her. Venti Valentine. I think this class of fillies is it's very much top heavy with superstars. Venti Valentine is raced 4 times. She won 3 of those, and the only race she lost was by a neck to another horse named Nest, who's undefeated and who's racing on Friday at Keeneland. So we'll get a chance to see how she goes at Keeneland to see if she's the real deal or not. She won her only race this year at Aqueduct, 92 buyer. I think she's an easy lock.
No, I disagree. We'll have to disagree on that.
You disagree, so yeah. We'll kind of be against each other right there. But I'm going to be singling Venti Valentine.
That's why it's a good vulnerable favorite, because you were going to sit here and single her, and I'm giving the people the winner. So
we'll see.
That's how that goes. All right. So what do you have now? Do you have anything on the?
Yeah. So let's stay at Aqueduct, and I'll do my vulnerable favorite. We're going to go up to race 7. The favorite on this is a 1 mile on the inner turf for olders. The favorite is 2-1 on Value Proposition. And so if you're a turf fan, you should be familiar with Value Proposition.
Chad Brown.
Yeah, he's one of those older kind of grinders who's in all the big, turf races in New York and in that area. He's raced at Saratoga, Aqueduct, Monmouth, Belmont. I don't know why he's the favorite. He's 2-1. He had a 102 buyer, 3 back. He ran at Gulfstream in January, got a 90 in a G3. He's just he's the favorite because he has name recognition. And he has a lot of experience. I'm going to go completely against him. I don't think this field's necessarily great. It's not even a graded stakes. It's ungraded.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with the number 1 horse, City Man. Joel Rosario, Christophe Clement. Had a couple near hits But Rosario's getting them out for the first time since September of last year. Rode them 3 times at Saratoga and Belmont, and won once, and then the race came off the turf in the mud, and they got 3rd there. So this is the first time that this horse is having Rosario on and also being on the turf since that race in August of last year. I think it's got a good shot here, but really in this race, I'm just looking to beat value proposition because I think it's a terrible favorite. But I guess someone has to be the favorite in this race, and if not him, then who?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, is that that's part of the late pick 5, so that might be a good time to start off the late pick 5. Beat the favorite off the bat, build some value.
Yeah, definitely. So that is.
And I know we both like. I don't. It's not my lock, but I know we both like Speaker's Corner in the Carter. That's a grade 1 race. I think we should call that out.
Yeah, so that's a really good race. We love Speaker's Corner, especially at Gulfstream. Look at his buyers: 106, 102, 103, 109. Absolutely incredible. The last 2 races, it kind of destroyed Fearless, who came back this past weekend at Gulfstream to just dominate his field. So Speaker's Corner is doing incredible. I think he's probably better at a mile because it gives him more distance to kind of pull away from that sprinter field. So he's cutting back a little bit here, but he's going to get on the lead. He breaks super fast. It's just going to be a question of whether or not anyone's fast enough to go with him. It is a pretty deep field here.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get on the lead like he has been. I think he's going to have to sit like 2nd or 3rd for sure. But I think he's good enough where that won't bother him.
Yeah, I mean, his problem is he drew pretty far outside.
Yep.
So he's going to have to go fast in order to get over to the rail before the turn to get on the lead. So
that's why I don't think they're going to push for that. I think they're going to say, all right, we have the best horse. We'll sit off of who's Green Light Go is on the inside. Reinvestment Risk might go. It looks like Green Light Go might be your horse that's on the lead. Maybe War Toxin maybe somehow gets out there. So, I mean, I think you look at those names, they're like, okay, we'll let one or two or both of those horses go, and we'll sit 2nd or 3rd, and then we'll just overtake them on the turn.
Yeah, for sure. But a lot of good horses. You mentioned Reinvestment Risk. 4 years old now. First race at 4 after a nice long layoff. 103 buyer and allowance race, won easily. Green Light Goes finally, figuring out what to do at 5.
Yeah, 2 wins in a row.
Yeah, 2 wins in a row. Had a
it's a nice field, and that's so funny because like Speaker's Corner still looks like a little bit like not head and shoulders the best, but like half a head the best.
Yeah, even like a horse like First Captain, who is undefeated at sprint distances. Its only loss was on the turf, going 1 1/8 miles, which was a really weird spot to put that horse in. Coming back at 4 years old now, so. Yeah, we got a lot of unknowns or horses who are finally figuring out what they're good at. I'm still going to probably single Speaker's Corner just because I think he's fantastic, and I think he's like a Met Mile type horse, and these other horses are G2 horses.
You mentioned them cutting back to 7. Like that's actually what they're doing. They're cutting back to 7, and this is going to be almost a de facto prep to go into the Met Mile and then stretch him back out to a mile.
Yeah,
I love that placement by Bill Mott. He's given him a little bit of a break going to 7 after 2 1-mile races, and then he's going to get him right back up to a mile.
Yeah, because that Belmont Met Mile is the one turn, super long stretch. So if he just keeps him in New York, keeps him running these type of races, I think it'll be perfect.
Well, no, I think it'll probably be this one, and then just train him to the Met Mile.
It's kind of a long layoff. They might run him. I guess that'd be 2 months. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all the races I have. Is there anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah, I got my hammer lock, which we're going to go back out to Santa Anita.
All right, go ahead.
So the race directly after the Santa Anita Derby, race number 7. Let me get the name. It's the Royal Heroine, grade 2 race on the turf. It's at 1 mile. Another horse that I love, her name is Going Global. I saw her twice last year at Del Mar in the summer as a 3-year-old. She ended up winning the Del Mar Oaks. And then on the Breeders' Cup undercard, she won another grade 2, the Goldacova at Del Mar. She's 4 for 4 on the Santa Anita turf. She's got 2 wins and a second place at a 1 mile distance. this is her first start as a 4-year-old. Easy for me to say. She had a bullet workout back in March on the dirt. So she's running bullet workouts on the dirt. She's a turf horse. She's already a grade 1 winner in America. She was started in Ireland. She's a total superstar. I mean, total superstar. She's 4-5 on the morning line. I think if she stays there, she probably won't stay there, but if she does, that's super great value. If she doesn't stay there, I would suggest, we hammer a daily double, man. Forbidden Kingdom into Going Global. And I mean, you could create some pretty good value that way with you're going to have 2 low horses, on the win pool, but you stack them together. And I think Going Global is an absolute lock. I'm probably going to play Forbidden Kingdom and maybe even throw in Taiba for some value. Just go Taiba, Going Global, daily double. So I think you can squeeze out some value of that Santa Anita Derby by, using Going Global in the very next race. Cause I mean, she is a grade 1 animal. She already has proven it, and she's coming back as a 4-year-old. I think this is just the beginning of a awesome season.
Yeah, I think that's the only way you're going to get value on her. It's a 5-horse race, and she's 4-5. I don't think she'll be 4-5. I think she'll be 2-5 or 3-5.
Yeah.
So if you want to sprinkle some value on your Forbidden Kingdom win bet, try to double it up.
Even the middle pick 4, I should say, also starts with the Santa Anita Derby. So you could go single, Going Global, and then there's your single for the pick 4. You can get some good value that way.
Yep. So it's like turning, like, let's say you get 2-1 in Forbidden Kingdom. You just sprinkle it, make it a double with Going Global, maybe turn that into 3-1 or 4-1. I think that's the only way you're going to try to get value there. But yeah, she's an easy single lock. I can't imagine her losing at all.
I can't see it. So I love her. She's a great horse. Can't wait to watch her run.
All right, perfect. Well, that's all we got tonight. We'll post our picks on Twitter on Saturday for all these big races.
Oh, we are? All right, let's do it.
Oh, I mean, I'll be posting my picks for each of the cards.
No, I want you to post both of ours. We'll do head by head, side by side. We'll see who's the best.
All right, sounds good. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. I'm at Horse Guy Mike. He's at, what are you at, John Herco?
At John Herco. I haven't done a horse Twitter yet.
That's all right. So make sure to follow along. Appreciate it. Like and subscribe to the #1 gaffly owned podcast on the internet. And with all that said, may the juleps be with you.